in 1861, you had West Point graduates trained in New York saying, "My home is Virginia."
Yeah.
And they said, "I will," and that's, I mean, the famous generals, "I will stand with my state."
But I don't think that people think like that anymore. So, I mean,
do you think the 19-year-old guy whose mom lives in, I don't know, Austin is going to be like, "Nah, I'm going to go to war with my neighbors and friends"?
I have no idea what your what a kid's going to do. Because there are people like, I would have said something different before January 6th last year when the feds filled up DC with, you know, troops for no reason.
The question is, are these guardsmen from Texas and connected through community to Texas? If the answer is yes, there is no question. If the feds make a move against Texas and try to seize control of the guard, on average, people will always just defend their friends and their families.
Yeah, you're talking about what people are likely to do. I'm wondering what the law actually says.
Apparently, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm reading this from findlaw.com, that Title 32 gives governors the authority over the guard in their states, but then they say that Title 10 says the president can mobilize the guard and put it under federal authority.
Yes, but under what circumstances? My understanding is the governor has to sign off on it.
If that's the case, then if the governor has to say yes, then that's the case. But yeah, I don't know for sure.
Well, I mean, I think realistically, the reason this country is still alive is because states are preeminent. The federal government's an afterthought. Like, we are United States. We unite by choice.
The Civil War completely changed all of that.
Yeah, it did.
What you're talking about is the way that the states thought of themselves prior to the Civil War, when the states still thought that they could secede.
Yeah.
Like, they used to think before, like Texas in their constitution, before they joined in their constitution, I believe it says, we're reserving the right to leave, because Texas used to be its own country. So I think
Texas could secede, theoretically.
So allegedly, I don't know that the federal government would allow it. The feds might still say, no, we settled this with the Civil War. According to the federal government, the Civil War settled the question as to whether or not countries can secede. So
and no, actually, Ulysses S. Grant wrote up exactly why they cannot, and I believe he's correct. So there are certainly, he's mostly correct. He wrote this great letter, and he said, basically, the states of the Union sacrificed blood and treasure to admit these states to join in, and they owe a debt. To declare that they would separate while in debt is, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but you can read the whole letter. Basically, his point is, yo, homie, I paid a bunch of money for you to come and join this crew. You can't just bow out now. You owe us. And that makes sense.
Is that it? I mean,
something to that effect is the argument being made. And so,
does that mean in perpetuity?
Well, that's a good point. That's why I say mostly correct. Mostly correct being, so long as you are in a debt, pay that debt back and we'll negotiate however that is. But I do believe that ultimately it doesn't matter, because Ulysses Grant also wrote, you have the right to secede, but no, if there is a debt to be paid, you will be at war, and if you lose, you'll be ruled by the victors. Yeah, so his point is basically, at any point, any person, any state could declare they will no longer be part of the Union, but be prepared to fight. And if you lose, you are now under our rule.
I imagine that there would be a fight if Texas were to say, well, we're going to just kick federal troops out.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be like leaving the Union. It would be like, yo, obviously Florida and Texas are unified. So if there was a union, like, what's the union? How many unions? Who is united exactly? Is it 49 of the states decide to unify against this stupid federal government that's gone too far? Then what's the union? The union is the people that are unifying. It's not on paper. It's like, what's really happening right now?
I just find it fascinating how many people scoffed at the idea of civil war